Hello and welcome to another edition of Around Town. This is the radio program where we travel around town and the area and we talk to different local businesses and really talk about what they have to offer to get to know them. So with me today is no stranger to us here at Salem Communications Boston. I have Sarah Mosin on the program with me, and she is the co-owner of Mosin Mortgage, but also a lot of you recognize her and know her from her Mosin Mortgage daily program heard on WEZE Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. So welcome, Sarah.
Oh, it's great to be here with you, Marita. How are you today?
I am well. I'm excited to have you on the program to talk about Mosin Mortgage.
I'm excited to be here. I mean, certainly we've had 8 years. It's been fantastic, and I have enjoyed every minute of it. I'm all smiles, and I'm happy to be on air with you. So,
Of course, we are too. So, really, speaking of Mosin Mortgage, I know you've been a partner with us for about 8 years, but talk to me about how long the business itself has been in business.
Well, my brother and I own the company, and so it is a family-owned business, and we really do want to be able to share not only information, but the best possible service when it comes to commercial and lending, commercial and residential properties. And we have experience over 25 years and over 50 wholesale lenders that we are connected with or partnered with in order to give our folks out here, not only in Massachusetts, but the 37 states, the best possible interest rate and savings.
Great. So you're licensed in 37 states?
37 states.
Wow, fantastic. All right. So talk to me really, people who are wondering, what kind of services do you offer different clients or people who are looking into mortgages?
Well, the big thing is this. We're all about making sure that we can finance folks from all walks of life. And I say that over and over again. And I have found this in the past and even now that lending has become an exclusive sport. Only the folks with the best scores get approved or that have hardly any debt. What we have done is we've been able to look at the 50 wholesale lenders that we work with, and each one can provide us options for all of our listeners throughout the 37 states that may have maybe 580 scores, which is considered lower and usually not approved by most banks, especially retail banks, and retail banks meaning local banks and credit unions. And we do not compete against local banks or credit unions. I have friends who are CEOs of those banks. It's just that they have different guidelines. So that's why maybe you might get turned down for a loan, maybe for your purchase of a home or a refinance, because they may be thinking that, okay, well, it's too risky or the score is simply not high enough. With us, we can go down to 580 score. And then with our daily program, what I've always said is ask the question. So folks chat with me and we can get you to that goal as well. Whether you're buying that first home, you don't have to have 20% down. You can have 3% down instead of $20 or $40 or $50,000, which is a lot of money, when you're purchasing a home. And for folks which I love, especially is the servicemen and women, our VA loans. So you do have 100% financing options for our servicemen and women. With the VA loans, you can buy a home without no money down. And I think that is really so wonderful because of what our troops have done, what our military, our servicemen and women have done to protect this great country of ours.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you kind of elaborated on that because really some people might not know the difference between the wholesale versus the retail lending.
Right.
Or, the different types of mortgages that you offer. You mentioned, the different VA loans, and that's really important to know because people who are contacting you will be like, oh, what are my options? What do you offer? Say I am in the military. What do you offer for that? So that's really great that you elaborate on that. And I really appreciate that because some people, they're not really as educated in that area. It's not their area of expertise, but that certainly is your area of expertise, and you certainly can help people in just a numerous amount of ways in that area.
Right. I mean, our goal really is to be of service and be able to answer questions when it comes to finances and make sure that you're making the best decision because there's a lot of information out there. And certainly I've said it's nice when your family member gives you advice or maybe the dog walker or your nanny. But the bottom line is that you want to make sure that you're getting the best possible information because it can have devastating effects if you don't have the right information when it comes to financial matters. And so we have been able to actually cover a large range of services. And one of them being, and this was a new product line in January, where if you are 62 years of age, you can actually be mortgage free with us. It's a government sponsored program. And that allows you to go through an interview process and understand the terms with a government-sponsored agency and then move forward with us. You get a certificate of understanding.
Wow.
And the property does not go to the bank. It is a property that you can will to your family members. If you're 62 years of age, and let's say your spouse is 55, you still qualify. And even if you're late on the mortgage, if you have debt, if you have credit card debt, we can pay off the credit card debt. You can be mortgage free and you can still have cash out. You can have $100,000 or $80,000 cash out. And so I do encourage folks to look into this with us here at Mosen Mortgage.
Absolutely. And, some tips that you personally recommend for people to look into would probably, include that, obviously, checking in with you and just really, because you can give that advice. Do you have any other, tips for people who maybe they're looking into their first mortgage?
I think the big thing is to make sure that you're working with someone who has a track record, which is important. And that's why I've said our track record speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
We've been on air with Salem for 8 years, and we are very blessed and fortunate to work with Marita and Pat Ryan, and Pat Ryan's on the air with me daily. So we have a history, and it's been a wonderful experience. And you can go into the WEZE Radio website and then go under Mosen, Mohsin. There's a link. And then there's the stories, the testimonials of our listeners who've come into the studio with me, who've shared their stories about when they refinanced or purchased their home or second home. So that speaks for itself. It's all about the track records.
Absolutely. I agree. And, you certainly have such a great, track record in general. And you've been on our station, like you said, partnering with us for about 8 years. So that in itself speaks for itself. Of course, you are a very credible source, and, we love working with you as well. So we do appreciate that. And, is there any way, for people who are wanting to find out more about what you can help them with, any advice? Do you have a website and phone number that you can give out to people, so they can reach out to you?
Absolutely. Our phone number, and it's 24/7, 1-800-662-9550. Again, the number is 1-800-662-9550. And you can actually go on Facebook as well. It's Mohsin, Facebook. Or very easily go on to, because we're on Salem, Florida and Salem, Massachusetts. We're on both stations daily. You can go on either websites. And I love the way it's set up with the WEZEradio.com website, and you go under Mosen, Mohsin. It'll show you a little bit about what we do, and we've been on the Business Journal. I'm on air as a, providing information and advice as a radio personality to Jim Turner Show with the Wall Street Business Network, as well as I'm a guest on air with the Glenn Meekum program. So it's not as if we're just doing a daily program. I do host on other shows as well.
Oh, yeah. And, it's been, the testimonies are great to check into, to look into, and just really see, those real life stories that people can relate to. And I believe the telephone number that you actually gave is actually a toll-free number as well, correct?
It is a toll-free number. So, folks, I just say ask the question, find out about your finances, and it's all about the freedom factor. Give back to your church and your community and your family by just reducing that interest rate on that commercial or residential property, which we can do very easily.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Sarah. I really appreciate it. It's been great having you on the program Around Town.
Thank you so much, Marita. It was my pleasure.